Good evening, my dogs. Hope everybody's good, man. Mile high salute. Mile high salute. So, next week, we will be fully into Bronco training camp. And there's a lot going on in Broncos country. Um, a lot of uprise, a lot of good vibes. Tomorrow, either tomorrow or I think Wednesday, the Broncos rookies report to training camp. Um, so I want to ask my fellow Broncos family, and the reason why I'm asking fellow Broncos country, because this is the truth, man, and it's kind of been a thing where Savage said, homie, hey, what up, what's going on, Rodriguez? What's good with you, bro? Michael, what's good with you, man? So a little rundown, bro. In the 80s, 70s, 60s, right? Broncos country, man, they played for a small market city and the fans were more small market, but it was so passionate with the Broncos fans back in the day. I remember basically coming into my fandom in the 80s, the fans were just passionate, bro. Like, and they didn't have Super Bowl rings at that time, right? The Broncos didn't have Super Bowl rings at the time, but just the passion, bro. Bronco Maniacs. What up, Big Eric? What's good with y'all, man? Bronco Maniacs. It was a real mindset, bro, right? A real way of life. Like I always say, it's a way of life, right? And Broncos country just to get to the Super Bowl with Always in 86 and 87 and 89 and Craig Morin in 77, right? The Bronco fans just they loved the team. That's all Denver was really about was Broncos country, right? Back in the day before the Mile High Stadium, Bear Stadium, this is when original Bronco fans, the ones that were born into this shit, ran these streets, right? And then the fans came along, homie, and they got a petition going to keep Broncos country in Denver. I always talk about this, right? What up, Big Rod? I seen you on TikTok earlier too, man. And this is a open panel if y'all want to pull up. But I gotta say something, man. I really do gotta say something because we're coming on the Broncos season, homie. Um, and the fans pulled together, bro, to keep Broncos country in Denver. A lot of fools don't even know that they were going to sell this team. A lot of the people don't even know that the Broncos were going to leave the beautiful state of Colorado and they were going to sell the team. But if it wasn't for Floyd Little and the Bronco fans coming together as a whole unit, the Broncos would have left. But they came together and they kept almighty Broncos country in the city of Denver, homie, a beautiful thing. And yes, when I think about it, bro, when the Broncos first started as a franchise, homie, it was a small marketplace because who knew anything about Colorado, right? The Broncos really didn't do too good in that first 10 years, right? But they started getting their little identity, bro, small marketplace. And they survived through some hardships with Broncos country. My boy Craig Moore, the original rider, homie. He takes him to the Super Bowl in 1977, homie. Craig Morton, the original. Floyd Little, the only Hall of Famer at that time, bro. And they just didn't have enough to get over that hump, right? And then the Raiders was running the whole division in the AFC West. They were running the whole division from like the 60s to 80s. And it was always mind-blowing to me how the Raiders, with the great team that they had in them timeframes, they only managed to get 3 rings. They didn't do it like the dynasty, and they had great teams, bro. Like they had a head start on Broncos country. And through the 70s and 80s, bro, they just kind of ran the division. They were bullies of the AFC West. But then in 1983, The Broncos managed to get their hands on John Elway, right? 83. John Elway comes into the league, and we all know it's a wrap for the Raiders. They never got back to glorious days, right? But the fans, bro, this is the thing is, bro, in 89, I started watching the Broncos. And the fans were just, it didn't matter if they had Super Bowl rings. It didn't matter if they lost. Broncos country turned up for the team, homie. I remember Broncos getting blown out in 89, bro. And the fans went to the airport to show respect to the Broncos, bro, right? That's where I grew up, the era of the real fans, homie, the South Standers. A lot of people don't even know. Like when I say South Standers, bro, I'm talking about the identity of the South Standers. I'm not just talking about the South Stands. I'm talking about the real identity of South Standers. And those were the above the average fan. These were the hardcore, diehard fans. You didn't go to that section without being a diehard fan. You definitely didn't wear your other team's jersey in that stands because you might have got harassed and they might have beat you up in the South Stands. It was really an identity that they pushed, right? And then they win the Super Bowl, right? In 32, Super Bowl 32. 1997, went on the revenge tour. John Elway, Terrell Davis. The fans just loved it, bro. It was just such a family vibe, right? A family vibe, homie. We had so much passion for Broncos country, bro. When the Broncos won their first Super Bowl, this whole city just erupted with passion. And I'm not talking about the 2015 fan base with Peyton Manning. I'm talking about the real diehards of the 90s, homie. And no disrespect to the people that came after that, but I'm talking about when the Broncos were still a small market franchise, and it meant so much to get that first ring, get the back-to-back Super Bowl championship ring. And it was only really Denver natives that was raised up on Broncos football that were fans, right? They tore down the stadium. That vibe of the South Standers kind of went out the window, but we still had the loyalty of the real Bronco fans, bro. And when I say the real Bronco fans, I'm saying the fools that literally bleed orange and blue 365 days of the year. Ain't no turning back and ain't no denying Broncos country. I remember fans, bro, they could get smashed up in every single game and they still gonna tell you it's Broncos country, right? I remember them days, homie. Now, down the road, because they kept going to the playoffs and they would get, first exits, went to the AFC Championship in 2005 against the Steelers. Jake Plummer comes in, and it was just the vibe of Broncos country. Now, this is what I'm going to tell you like this. This is why I bring this up, homie. Now, when Peyton Manning was traded here, I did not want Peyton Manning, right? I didn't want Peyton Manning. I hated Peyton Manning, just to be truthful. I'd rather have Tim Tebow at the time. I didn't want Peyton Manning. He comes, and I kind of really didn't want that. I was not feeling that whatsoever. I'm not a Peyton Manning fan. Never was. He earned my respect down the road, though, because what he did for the city, and he identifies as a Coloradoan now. But the fans that came with him, right? The fans that didn't know about the glorious Broncos franchise, the history of the fan base. It was just all these bandwagons, bro. And I just hated the separation between the true fans and the bandwagons, homie. Now, when I say the true fans, I'm talking about the fools that's been through the thick and thin with Broncos country, not came over here and got the fruits of Peyton Manning. Because that distorted a lot of the fans. Homie, I'm going to be real with y'all motherfuckers out there. That Peyton Manning era, I loved it. But there was a lot of motherfuckers that distorted this fan base to a point you can't even my bad, and I don't mean about cussing, but you can't even separate the real from the fake because the bandwagon, and I'm talking about bandwagon, bro, like there became booster clubs in every single, and I'm going to be real, and I don't care if even Bronco fans want to hear this, but that's the truth. Booster clubs all across 50 states. Broncos country outside of the United States. People that were saying, oh, I was a Colts fan and now I'm a Bronco fan. Don't even know the history. Didn't even do their diligence to check up on what Broncos country was really about. And the bandwagons overtook the real fans. They started literally making it about paying Manny and then acting like they could eat off the fruits. Then you had all these, and this is the truth. This is real. Let me drink to this, right? The bandwagons turned this fan base soft, homie. I started seeing fools bash the Broncos that said they were Bronco fans after the Pay and Manny era. You started seeing them fools bash the culture and bash the franchise. They bashed every move the Broncos made. They bashed every quarterback the Broncos brought in. Every single move that the Broncos made, the bandwagons literally acted like they had a problem with that shit. They look at this shit. I did this on TikTok, and this fool, and this is the bandwagon shit I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see it, right? You can't see it, it's too bright. But anyways, I made a TikTok, and this is the shit that I'm telling you right now. This is the shit I can never acknowledge, homie. I will never acknowledge fools like this. I wasn't even talking to this dude. He supposed to be a Bronco fan, and I'm going at the Chief fans, and he decides to tell me to pipe down. He's supposed to be a Bronco fan. He told me to pipe down because the Queefs are the kings of the division, bro. And he told me to pipe the brakes on this season. And then I look at his profile, homie, and it says he has more representation of the Vikings. But this is the face of a lot of Broncos country now, is that these fools are so scared. If he a real Bronco fan, he's so scared to make a statement and stand on his conviction because he's so worried about what these division foes think about him. And that's been a lot of the Broncos fans, bro. It makes me sick that fools can make content and bash the Broncos, bro, when you literally use the Broncos logo for your whole channel. And this is what we got after the Peyton Manning era. Now, I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying, the real Bronco fans that came, bro, and that just love the team and the squad, more power to you guys, man. More respect to you guys. But to the fools that just literally don't know how to take adversity and trials and tribulations, bro, and don't know what it was to be through the thick and thin of Broncos country, these are the fans that never been through the hard times with Broncos country, right? These are the ones that ate off of Peyton Manning's good time, and because they lost Peyton Manning, we had a lot of losing seasons. They didn't know how to react, so they started bashing Broncos country, and they never. And you know what's crazy? They had a voice on this, and it makes me sick because this is the fan base now, bro. Fools is supposed to be Bronco fans, and they residing with these Quee fans and these Raider fans and Charger fans, and they telling Broncos country don't talk about this shit. Now I'm gonna talk about this shit, homie. I look at what's going on with Broncos country, and I ain't scared of nobody in the schedule, homie. I'm sorry to say, I ain't scared of the Queefs. I ain't scared of the Raiders, the Chargers. I ain't scared of Cowgirls. I ain't scared of anybody we play. Seahawks, the Eagles, homie. Because I'm going to hold this logo on the back of my loan, even if people don't ride with it. Because it's almighty Broncos country at the end of the day. And I don't care who's on the schedule. They just another team that could fall. And if people that say they represent this squad, bro, don't have faith in what's going on still to this day, and you don't got faith in Bo Nix, and you ain't got faith in this defense and Sean Payton and everything that they done shown you, you might as well just like turn in your Phantom card, bro. Don't represent this squad, bro, because you're going to be the first people that jump on the bandwagon when the Broncos actually start knocking fools off their high horse. But I'm high on. Yeah, any real logical, any real educated fan, homie, will understand that shit. Any real educated fan will understand what Bo Nix came into a train wreck, homie. And he did everything that you're supposed to do as a rookie. He got to the playoffs with no wide receivers. And now we going into the second year with shit just thrown at him, weaponry, a defense, a coach that knows how to develop. And you think I'm supposed to be scared of anybody in this NFL? Nah, that's not how we ride, bro. You either gonna ride with the Broncos if you a fan, or kick rocks, bro. Go join the Queefs, because I'm tired of hearing that shit, and I'm gonna start calling a lot of people out. I'm gonna get back to the old Savage Sam, because if y'all motherfuckers is trying to disrespect the shit we live for in football season, I got a problem with that shit. What up with it? Awesomeness. What's up, man? Yeah. And that's the thing is, bro, we let these fools infiltrate. Now I'm out some Broncos country, bro, and everybody that watches replay, like, homie, to the individuals that represent this shit, salute to you. But you fools got soft and y'all don't believe still. I'm telling you, homie, let your nuts hang. Stop like showing that you guys might have vaginas and all that stuff, and you just too scared, homie. It's about time that you grow some nuts and represent this squad with passion. Like, stop doing that little what is that passive aggressive shit, homie. Oh, we might win and we might not, bro. Like, bro, if the Broncos ain't showing you how this culture switched, what are you watching at this point? Like, I'm tired of hearing Bronco fans be like, oh, I don't know, bro, like this and that. Like, why don't y'all have some heart and say, we gonna get the job done. We gonna head bust this year. We got a defense that's gonna keep us in every single game. And we souped up the defense tremendously. That will give the ball back to Bo Nix. And all he has to do is put points on the board. Ain't no team out there going to put 30 plus on this defense, 20 plus on this defense. I don't believe that shit. I believe this defense is locked down. And what the additions that they put on this team, you can beat any team in the NFL, bro, and the Broncos are going to keep it close. All we have to have is Bo Nix play above average. And now he can utilize what he didn't have last year. And if you don't see that still, and you're still crumbling because you're scared or you don't want to be wrong. Now, I get it, homie. The last 9 years was terrible for Broncos country. And I understand the frustration. But I feel like the Bronco fans have got this complex of being victims, homie. Like, a lot of motherfuckers remind me of just victims, bro. A lot of fools rather sit in the pity and cry instead of representing what you're supposed to represent in the rightful manner, bro. And I'm kind of tired of that shit. That's why I don't associate with a lot of Bronco fans, because a lot of Bronco fans just don't have the heart. A lot of Bronco fans, like I said this before, this is the real deal. This is real shit. You fools are the same people that will be at the stadium, bro. And I'm not talking to anybody in particular. I'm just saying these are the same fools that be at the stadium. The enemigos will disrespect the Broncos in the stadium, homie. You'll tuck your tail and walk away and let the logo get disrespected. They'll spit all over the logo in your face. They'll call you a donkey and slap you, bro. And you will just tuck your tail in your own home, bro. Because y'all fools got this pessimistic, soft victim stance. And your mindsets are messed up. That's not the original Broncos country, homie. That's not original South standards, bro. Y'all got to get to a point, homie, where you're representing this team regardless, lose, win, tie, homie. You're representing with honor, bro. You know what I'm saying? Stop being them fools that just, I don't know if it got to an aspect, because I hear this shit too. We're just we're nice and this, and it's hospitality. Nah, bro, if they're disrespecting you, they're disrespecting what you represent. So why be a fan if you're just going to let people disrespect you, bro? And disrespect the logo, bro? That's just the truth, homie. Bronco football finna be exciting this season. If people don't believe now, I don't want them having a change. Hell no. Nah. That's my whole thing is too, homie. Don't start representing like this fool right here. He left me 5 messages talking about the Queefs, and then he talks about how the Broncos got beat by the Bills in the playoffs. And I'm like, yeah, that's not surprising though, bro. The Bills were supposed to beat the Broncos. Are you an idiot? That's not a flex, homie. That's not a flex for the Bills and Josh Allen to beat a rookie in the playoffs when the Broncos weren't even supposed to be there. That's not a flex. A flex is Bo Nix supposed to have 3 wins and he gets to the playoffs without wide receiver. Now, that's a flex. So when I think about this, bro, I can't even take this serious right here. And I can't take people that just say that they're Broncos country and all they do is bash. Because it shows who you really are. It shows that you really have a loser mindset. It shows when stuff gets hard, you're not going to represent and hold yourself with that high up pride that you break easy. I will never waver, bro. I'm never going to waver. It doesn't matter if the Broncos are terrible, and they've been terrible. I still get up and with pride to represent this logo. I wouldn't have got it tattooed on me. I wouldn't have this tattoo on me if I wasn't proud. Y'all fools forget. Y'all fools forget. The fools that's been around, and if it was pessimistic, y'all really forget this shit. You're not The Charger fans ain't seen a ring in your lifetime. You're not the new Raider fans. They ain't seen a ring since '83. Y'all motherfuckers that's been around for a minute, that's acting like this, y'all are spoiled, bro. You've seen 3 Super Bowl titles in the city of Denver, and not to mention a back-to-back Super Bowl title. There's teams and fans that never gonna experience that shit. So you to act and throw tantrums, bro, that shit is just pathetic, homie. That is really pathetic to me. What's up, my homie Spark? What's good with him, man? All we needed was a good quarterback. Yeah, definitely. You know, definitely. We needed a good quarterback and we got it now, bro. And everybody is still, even with that, there was Bronco fans, and I don't even call them Bronco fans. I call them bandwagon Manny fans, homie. They were saying, oh, that was a reach, because ain't no real Bronco fan that's been through this and watching this team. Don't try to tell us what you gonna do and what a quarterback is, because we know how to actually bring quarterbacks and win. And see, the messed up thing about it is the messed up thing about it for the league, homie, and this is what you got to understand, man. I've been watching this team since 1989. Every time the Broncos get in the playoffs and they start doing playoff runs, every time in my lifetime they start going to Super Bowls. Every time you give them an inch and they're gonna take a mile. You let them in the playoffs, they're going to get to a Super Bowl. They're going to start competing for Super Bowls. Now, I can't speak for every other franchise, because you see all these pointless ass franchises that get in the playoffs and don't win a Super Bowl ring. That's not Broncos country. That's never been Broncos country. One reason why we actually been to most Super Bowls pretty much in the league is because when we get to the playoffs, even with mediocre playoff teams, we somehow go to Super Bowls, bro. And you can't, the other AFC West, the Raiders and the Chargers, they can't, there's no trying to reflect that, because their franchises don't know what that shit is about. Now, the Chiefs are the top runner, homie. Let's get, you know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. The Chiefs are the top runner right now. But this is the new era of the AFC West. AFC West is loaded with talent all across the board with new coaches, and the coaches are ready to fire off. Now, the Chiefs, it's not a guarantee for these Queefer boys to win this division, bro. And we as Broncos country has the formula to actually start competing and trying to knock off these Queefer boys. And I'm to a point, I ain't scared of the Queefs. I don't have no fear of the Queefs. I could care less about their run. My whole life they've been trash, and I'm not ever going to respect a run in this soft-ass era. That's the bottom line, especially when there's a lot of controversy about the refs. I will never respect that shit, because the Chiefs, my whole life, been trash, and it took them 50-plus years to start being relevant again. Let's put it into perspective, homie. If they didn't luck out with Patrick Mahomes, they would have never been shit. They would have still been an NFL trash-ass team. That's the difference between Broncos country and a lot of these franchises. Our whole history has some type of championship in it, and we do it in spurts. We do it in eras. We are all around a team that goes to championships, not in just a little time frame, bro. It didn't take us 50-plus years to do anything, homie. And we will never be that team. That's why we run this division. And it doesn't matter who's on top right now. The division will always be ours, because we'll do this shit multiple. We'll fall off, and then we'll reload and retake the division. That's just Broncos country, bro. That's the reality. That's hardcore facts. And if you don't believe, you might as well just leave. If you don't believe, bro, in what's going on, and you're so blinded and it just goes over your head, because you can't honestly tell me from the Russell Wilson era, the Teddy Bridgewater era, the Case Keenum era, the Flacco era, the Drew Lock era, that the culture hasn't switched dramatically. You understand what Sean Payton, you understand this, guys? Sean Payton came in as the coach, and the streaks, I'm talking about streaks, the streaks that the Broncos had in that era since Peyton Manning that they couldn't break, Sean Payton single-handedly broke streaks. Streaks, bro. Streaks. Like, Sean Payton turned the culture around. And if you can't see that still, you're just kind of either slow, or you just don't want to believe because you like to stay victim, homie. You got to get your priorities in check, man. Like, football season's coming up, bro, and this type of shit just has me just thinking how dramatically this fan base has changed, bro. It used to be an honor for me as a 5280 representative, Denver General baby, homie, to talk Broncos football with other Bronco fans. It used to be an honor, homie, because we all had the spirit of Broncos country. Nowadays, I can't even stand talking football with Bronco fans because how pessimistic and the victim mindset that they have gained over the years since Peyton Manning, bro. It's mind blowing to me. And I just tell people like this: can y'all motherfuckers just kind of just rethink your whole thought process on this whole thing and get back to what the South Standard mentality was? Can y'all just like literally just understand that? You know what I'm saying? Like it's a process. And if you don't like the process, you ain't never going to be a winner. If you can't go through the process and actually represent, what are you used for? Like, I don't understand that shit, man. The homeless Raiders, you leave that to us Niner fans. But that's what I had to say, homie. And I know it's gonna touch a little bit of it's gonna touch a little bit of nerves. People are gonna feel some type of way because they probably did that. It's not to personalize go at you guys, but to the people that get triggered by that, maybe you just need to rethink how you represent. Because if you ain't wholeheartedly representing this team, and you can actually let somebody just disrespect the squad that you say you represent, you really can't be considered a real fan, homie. You got to understand, you got to go through this fire, homie. If you a real fan, a real 100% fan, you got to go through the fire, regardless of anybody's behind you, and you got to come out swinging. That's what separates the real from the fake. Because there's a lot of fake people out there, and that's why we got to a place in fandom, and that's why we got to a place with football fans where people just acknowledge bandwagon shit. Everybody can be a fan of this team and then be a bandwagon. When did we start allowing that shit with football fans? Because I remember in the 90s and 2000s, you couldn't get away with that. You would get checked, bro. You might as well drink out of a pitcher. I bet you pour most of the pitcher in the cup. Anyways, you might as well drink out of a pitcher. I bet you pour most of the pitcher in the cup. Let's go, bro. Hell yeah, let's drink it up, man. Toast to the good life. We got Broncos football coming. We got Broncos football coming up. And I'm so ready to see the new additions put in work. And that's the bottom line to it, man. It's a dramatic feel going into this season, bro. It's a whole different feel. Hell nah. And that's what I'm saying, my homie A Fizzle. Like real shit, bro. I don't know when I couldn't tell you when that switched because the 70s, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, all the way up to like the Tom Brady era, bro. You really had authentic ass fans. That's the difference between the fans now and the fans back then. And I think it's fantasy football that just made everybody be in delusion. But this is the thing that you got to understand too. And this is like you're talking to a person that's rooted in the Broncos community. You're talking to a person that is generational with Broncos country. I grew up off this shit, right? That's one reason why back in the day when people looked at Broncos country as a fan base, we were considered in the top 5 best fans ever in the NFL. Considered, bro. Like this city got behind the Broncos so much, homie. People could not throw a blind eye to what Bronco Maniac was, bro. You have Broncoholics. I'm talking about the whole city turned up for Broncos country. And I've seen that dramatically change over the years because it's like people were so used to that aspect after a while winning, bro. They didn't know how to take that shit. And then I blame it on how the NFL has become a fantasy football league. I blame that on how fantasy football's corrupted a lot of people's minds with who they represent, and now they're only representing players. I don't represent players whatsoever. I'm a Bronco fan before any player. Once you're gone, unless you really made an impact, you are not. I don't miss. I'm not gonna say like Von Miller. I miss him, homie. He'll be a Bronco, but he represents the Broncos over there. But once you're gone, homie, I don't. It doesn't affect me like that because it's about the logo before any player to me. Um, oh hell yeah! I mean that was a bandwagon. But see, that's the difference between my homie Wi-Fi, the Seahawks, bro. If you look at history, they didn't really have the clamp down on a loyal fan base. I'm gonna be honest, bro. When they were in the AFC West, nobody represented the Seahawks. And even when they got into the NFC West, nobody represented the Seahawks like they did after they won that Super Bowl. So that dramatically came from a bandwagon. I'm kind of wholeheartedly talking about the real Broncos diehards, the South Standers, the ones that represented that mentality, the Barrelmans and the Orange Vaders and the limo drivers, the pom-poms, the leprechauns, the real Broncos country, the heart of Broncos country, the old school 80s and 90s Bronco fans, they're so different than these day Bronco fans. These day Bronco fans, they will bash the team, homie, and disrespect. Old school Bronco fans ain't never gonna do that shit because it's more about this than just anything. It's a family thing. We were used to the family aspect. And now, you know, now, bro, it's like you don't got that aspect even in the fan base no more because it's a lot of bandwagons that translated into the Broncos fan base. You can't even sometimes separate because they infiltrated since the Peyton Manning era so much that it kind of became the face of what the fan base has become. They became the face. All these pessimistic crybaby ass fools, they became the face, homie. Broncos country can do the best decisions, homie, and they'll still cry. They'll cry about this and that, and they cry and cry and cry and cry. And I'm like, frankly, sick of that shit. I'm sick of Broncos country trying to get this shit together and hearing the fans cry about what the Broncos are not doing instead of understanding and like putting in perspective. You understand this shit got to a train wreck, homie. We were off the hinges with this Bronco shit. And it was not going to be an overnight process, but you got a coach that knows how to actually make big boy decisions, and people still hated that shit. And now it's turning around, and people just can't let go to the pessimistic mindset. They still want to be a victim. They still want to cry. They still want to cry. They still want to, oh my gosh, bro, Bo Nix, he overrated and check down. And this is supposed to be the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? This is the quarterback of the Broncos. Like, instead of lifting this dude's spirit and be like, yeah, that's who we riding with, homie, Bo fucking Nix. He showed you fools. He showed you fools. Y'all want to say, oh, he's still overrated. In what mindset do you think Bo Nix is overrated? Because overrated would have meant they would have came in the NFL last year and people would have said that they would have had a winning record. They said Bo Nix wasn't even going to be able to get them 3-4 wins and he goes to the playoffs and that's overrated with no wide receivers. Do people watch this Broncos team? Because the check down scenario is kind of just like it's fabricated from people that didn't watch this squad because there's many different places he went down the field and was bombing the shit out to his wide receivers, hitting fools on the mark. So he literally had to play with something he really didn't have. He didn't have wide receivers, right? That's what they said. So he was making the best of what he had, and he still was producing. He didn't have a third down threat. He didn't have the third down threat. You understand that, people? Everybody that wants to talk about this, you understand last year, Bo Nix didn't have a third down threat, meaning he couldn't extend chains. A lot of the times, he didn't have a tight end that could play productive football. He had to use his legs to get first downs a lot. And you gave him one of the best machines, third down threats in Ingram that he's a mechanic. Like this fool is a comfort blanket for Bo Nix. So Bo Nix now got a third down threat. Not put in perspective, he didn't have a run game either last year. The run game was terrible. Bo Nix led in rushing a lot of the season. And now he got a run game. And you mean to tell me you still think that this fool is not going to produce? And he produced already last year and he made everybody look foolish. And everybody that said it was a reach, they're now having to eat their words. And they're having to go back. And they don't want to do that because everybody wants to be right, especially when it comes about Broncos country. People just don't want to say, I was wrong. It's just like that channel I always talk about. They never came out and said the Broncos got it right. We listened to this shit for 5, 6, 7 years. We always said, you know what, you got it right. They couldn't even man up and say, hey, the Broncos got it right. We were wrong, because they don't have that kind of heart. Them fools is cowards. What's up with it, man? Half of the people who live here didn't even live here back in the 90s. Even alive. Yeah, we know, we definitely know that, bro, because it's a transplant city. Definitely. We understand that. And a lot of the natives done moved out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of natives went all around, you know. So yeah, there's a lot of people that just never knew about that aspect. But that's still, when you look at the booster clubs, right? And I'm talking about booster club representation in all 50 cities, bro. Before the Peyton Manning era, you didn't have 50 cities with booster clubs of the Broncos. And if you know what a booster club is, you probably do, chapters in every city. Every city, 50 states have Bronco chapters now. In Mexico City, chapters now. It's like Peyton Manning came and it flooded. It just literally threw like a wildfire. And those are the same fools that try to talk about what the Broncos need to do and what they don't need to do. And frankly, they just pessimistic, and they real life, they're the black eye on the fan base. Because you know what? I talked to a lot of people outside of this Broncos fan base, and they say Bronco fans at the moment are probably some of the most shakiest fans. And that's coming from rivals, bro. That's coming from people that just see it. So that's why I say they're a black eye on the fan base. Because if other fools are saying, and it's multiple fan base, damn, you Bronco fans are just shaky. Y'all give up in a matter of two minutes. Like last year, Bo Nix had 2 bad games, bro, and everybody was saying he's a bust. It's like, bro, that would have never happened in the 90s. If John Elway, bro, if John Elway lived in this era, homie, John Elway's career would have been devastated, because the fans nowadays, they would have literally booted his ass out of Denver, bro. Back in the day, Broncos country still rode with John Elway when he had statistically bad numbers. Then the Seahawks had definitely never, ever seen in my life. Me neither, my homie. And they were everywhere, even in Denver, bro. Even in Denver. And then they disappear. There's no Seahawks fans out here no more. I don't even see one Seahawk. I haven't seen Seahawk fans in the last 3-4 years. But the year after the Broncos got beat by Seahawks, I started seeing Seahawk fans in Denver. And I'm like, what? Where did these dudes come from? And now they just disappear. They went ghost. And it's going to be the same with Queef fans, too. When Queefs get bad again, you ain't going to see Queef fans in the city of Denver, because that shit was a whole bandwagon. You know what I'm saying? As again, those two franchises are really bad with bandwagon. Yeah, terrible, bro. Tell me about it. The loudest stadium, because how much they cry. And to be honest, too, bro, they kind of created that stadium to hold in noise. So it's not just the fans. It's kind of the noise ricochets off of like stuff at that stadium to make it loud, bro. Bo Nix is badass. Hell yeah. And anybody that watches football knows this, bro. Let's be real. Come on, man. Take your bias out of it, bro. Take your bias out of this whole conversation. Like it comes a time when it just becomes hate. And that's a lot of people are pushing the bias hate, because you don't want to let go. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to say, hey, I was wrong about this aspect. But you have to, because it's coming and it's already started. It's flooded. And they built the solid foundation for them to succeed and produce. And there's not really anything people could really do about it. You know, but people should actually be happy, homie. This is what I got to say. People should be happy, because just like the Patriots, if we recall, the Broncos had to go shut them fools down and stop their runs. Broncos country had to come save the NFL multiple times. We're the big boys in this shit, right? We had to stop in the AFC championships. We had to stop in divisional rounds. We had to stop Tom Brady multiple times. And if it wasn't for us, he would have more rings because nobody else in the AFC could stop this dude. So now it comes to the Chiefs, and nobody can stop these dudes. Nobody, bro. The Chargers can't stop them. The Raiders can't stop them. The whole AFC can't stop these dudes. Bengals. It doesn't matter who you put up there. The Ravens, the Bills. Nobody seems to be able to stop the Chiefs. And now the Broncos have to come save the day, and that's the honest fact. So we got to show everybody how you stop a juggernaut, right? We gonna have to put the belt to ass and stop these dudes and show everybody else. That's why Broncos country's on top. That's why we are the top dogs of the AFC, and we coming for it. And I'm speaking that to existence, and I wholeheartedly are telling everybody, like, it's time to get in that. It's time to get in that old school South Standard mindset, homie, and stop playing like we just don't have a chance, like you fools are scared. Because right now, a lot of people sound scared. A lot of people still sounding scared. Oh, the Chiefs. Oh, man, shut the hell up, bro. Shut the hell up. If you don't have heart enough to say, homie, forget the Chiefs. We got a defense to rattle this dude. It just kind of just like shows who you really are. You must be just a scary individual. You know what I'm saying? And that's the real, bro. That's the real deal. You just described Falcon fans here in the state of Georgia. They shaky as hell with their fan base. Definitely, homie. Definitely. There's a lot of fan bases, and there's a lot of fan bases that are like that, bro. And I can honestly say, back in the day, the Broncos fan base was never shaky. Back in the day when I was growing up, you could not get a Bronco fan to just bash the Broncos and be like, I'm scared. I'm just scared, because back in the day, just they lived Broncos football, you know. And that's my era, and that's the era you fools that represent the Broncos really need to go read up on. Fools need to go do their whole research and go understand what that real South Standard mentality was. So understand, when they say Bronco Maniacs, that's not just a word that they put out there, bro. Bronco Maniacs was the old fan base, homie, that just literally the maniacs of Broncos country, bro. Like, they lived, died, slept. Every ounce of them was Broncos country. And that's what people need to understand. That's what we were kind of rooted off of, not just a football fan base. You know what I'm saying? Not just a fan base. Oh, I'm a fan of the Broncos. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a Sunday thing, bro. People forgot that mentality, and it has a lot to do with how the NFL really is now, though, too. I'll be watching because, man, and that's a beautiful thing right there, bro. Them additions right there, man. That's what we were missing, bro. That's why the Broncos at times was getting, you know what I'm saying? They had teams had a way with them because they didn't have them spots filled. There's no hole on this defense at all. There's not one hole on the defense side of the ball if these fools can stay healthy. Now, that's the question, right? But if you have these fools on the field, just going off of how aggressive this defense was last year, and then you put the additions, bro, I don't care who you are, bro. You're gonna get slowed down tremendously. Now, there's quarterbacks that's gonna produce and eat, but you're gonna get slowed down tremendously, bro. Because one of our biggest things since Peyton Manning era, we could not cover tight ends. We could not cover tight ends, bro. Our coverage on the tight ends, we would just get dominated. Kelsey's and Kittles and whoever had a solid tight end, they were demolishing the Broncos defense. That was a hole. But you bring in Greenlaw, and he literally a abuser. You're not just gonna actually be able to just. He matches up against tight ends when he's healthy. See, elimination. Our secondary's tremendous. We got some of the best duel in the safety play, bro. Cornerbacks. This new rookie coming in, bro. He's already just he's a watch when you watch this dude play on the field, bro. Ball hogs, bro. Headhunters. So, you know, that's gonna be a good ass thing. Bengals stopped them in 21. Yeah, not definitely. They stopped them, but then what did they do? They didn't even win the championship, Big David. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get to the big show and you got to win the championship, man. Yeah, I feel it. I feel it. But that was only that was like, how many times have the Bengals beat the Chiefs actually in the whole time Patrick Mahomes era in playoffs? I think it's one time. I don't think they have their number. I think it's just one time. Patrick Mahomes has been going to the title games and Super Bowls, bro. And I understand they have a good win, but my point is, bro, is like this fool keeps getting to the Super Bowl, and the only way you get through the Super Bowl is you run through them playoffs on the AFC side, on the AFC conference side of the thing, and pretty much, bro, ain't nobody in the AFC been able to stop this dude, and he's won multiple championships. My boss is a KC fan, and 5 people at work started like KC when they knew she was a KC fan. Now that she is gone, it's Bron. Can't even take them people serious. Can't take them people serious, Big George. You know what I'm saying? What? The Bengals are one of the only teams who played the Chiefs good. The Bills ain't never gonna beat them. I honestly think it was the one. But see, that's the thing about it now too is, bro, the Bengals. Okay, the Bengals. They're not gonna be going to the playoffs no more, bro. The Broncos are taking their spot like we did last year. There's one team that has to be eliminated from these playoff runs, and it's the Bengals, and the Broncos are taking that spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're the ones that only could compete. So like, they're not really, since the Broncos are starting to compete, we gonna take somebody's spot. And Bengals, out of all 3 of them teams, the Bills, the Ravens, them teams right there, and the Bengals, I think they're probably the weakest to actually. They're probably the weakest of the 3. Outside of Broncos, coaching, what is your favorite fan base? Mine is Bills. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, so I have respect for fan bases, right? I have respect for fan bases. So the Bills fan base is dope. They got a good, solid fan base, loyal, because it's all about loyalty. I guess the top 5 outside of Broncos country that I respect, and it'll probably be the top 5 and not in the order. It will be the Bills. Green Bay has a good fan base. I earned a lot of respect for the Niners fan base because I actually, when they came out here, it was actually some good time. They had some good fans. Um, I know this is going to surprise people. The Browns, I think they have a tremendous good fan base because they just suck and they still have solid support. And yeah, I mean, yeah, that's probably like the top ones. That's the top ones to me. Um, but yeah, man, I wanted to come say what's up, man. I had to come chop it up. I had to come chop it up. I had to come chop it up with the homies. Now, the worst fan bases, if we talk about the worst fan bases, I just literally like can't even take serious. I would have to say Quee fans. I would have to say Seacock fans. I would have to say. Now, see, what's crazy about the Raider fans? It's like a love hate situation because they got some fans that are delusional, but they do got some loyal fans over there with the Raiders. Um, but yeah, bro, it's just about that right there. Niner and Bills. Niners had a good following when they came out here, bro. Niners had a good following. Definitely, they had a tremendous. They had a lot of fans out here when I was at that game. Yeah, Quee fans have become like, oh, Patriot fans. I would have to say the Patriot fans too, bro. They're probably in the top worst Patriot fans because they were kind of like the Quee fans too. So that's like the top 5 of the fan bases that are just like, yeah, bro. That's not really a serious aspect, you know. I'm like, man, yeah. No, they were, bro. They were. They were. They were the bandwagon. Patriots had all the bandwagons. I mean, they had a lot of bandwagons. It was like, damn, bro, where did the Patriot now the Chiefs? Because like this is the thing is, homie, this is the real thing. When I was out in Kansas City, Missouri, bro, what I seen from the fan base out there when I was out there, it was like it just was no representation, homie. The Kansas City fans were like they were I guess if you want to call it, they were like real brittle, like they didn't have anything to talk about. So nobody really had the Chiefs spirit when I was out there, bro. And that's wholeheartedly true. It was like it was hard to see Chief fans, like you would come across them, but they didn't have the spirit. Like there was no shit talking. The Chief fans that I did come across, they were trying to be more humble at the time. Like they were trying to be humble more to the Bronco fans. They were just didn't have no firepower, you know. Original bandwagon. Yep, definitely. I don't know. And then you have to. I guess what makes like honestly because people all have different opinions. What makes a good fan base separated from a bad fan base? Because when you look at Cowboy fans, right? I mean, look at just the action. Actions speak louder than words. Why, if they're such a good fan base, right? People say they got the biggest fan base and everything. Why is it that Dallas gets overtook? Why ain't fans going to their games if they got the best fans? Why do their stadium get overtook? Because this is the thing about it is, bro, like there's there's basically a lot of fans. There's a lot of fans, and then you have getting overtook, invaded, right? And I've seen Cowboys games where the other fans just overtake, bro. So when I look at it, is it because they're not going to the games or they're making money? Like that don't even remind me of a solid fan base. That really don't. Like in my opinion, it's all about sellouts. It's all about consistency. It's all about the atmosphere. Like when you're down, if you have majority of the stadium still filled, you know. But everybody has a different opinion. Like let's be real, bro. The Raiders have a solid bunch of fans, right? But there's a whole handful of Raider fans that just are not real Raider fans. And when I say that, I mean they don't know shit about the Raiders. They couldn't talk to you about the generals and the legends of the Raiders. But people will consider these dudes still fans. And then I met fools too that with their gear, like the gear, it's iconic, right? People will represent their gear and they're not even Raider fans. So I just can't. And then I look at it too. This is another thing with the Raiders. You got a nation, right? You have this nation thing. If you have a nation, homie, then why did you have the worst attendance for years in the NFL? Why did you have the worst attendance? Why did your ratings for people going to your games was the worst in the NFL? To a point, they had to block off whole sections at the Raiders Stadium to stop blackouts. The nation, that's not, I don't know what kind of nation that is, because that don't speak the most loyal fans. So did they just not go to the games? I don't know. It's just the truth, bro. And then look at what's going on with their stadium now. They're the new Cowboys. They get invaded by everybody's fans. So when I look at it, I mean, yeah, it's cool to say, the image of the Raiders and we're the biggest and this and the most merchandise sold. Yeah, homie, that's not surprising because the NWA, man, everybody loved that shit. NWA, everybody was in love with the NWA. They had iconic a logo, right? So people are gonna magnetic to that. Not even they don't even some people don't even magnetic that to because they're fans. It's just the aspect of that was a big representation to California. I think as Niner fans, we do have a real big solid core, but there are fraudulent ass fans that only show up when they winning. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, you guys got a big following, definitely. I see when the Niners win, I see more Niner fans out there, definitely. You know what I'm saying? They do come out the woodwork. Um, but I honestly think you guys probably I think Niner a lot of Niner fans, to be honest though, to be real, I think they have one of the bigger fan bases, like representation everywhere, to be honest. You know, in all fairness, Cowboys are the most profitable franchise out of all franchises. Yeah, not definitely. They were like, I mean, they definitely had a dramatic effect, you know, dramatic effect. But when I look at it though, I honestly look at it with the Cowboys, bro. I just be like, I don't see the I don't see the actually the authentic loyalty of the fan base. I see Eagle fans more loyal than Cowboy fans, honestly. And them dudes really have a bad rep. But in all fairness, that's their representation, bro. I'm not mad at them. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. That's what they do. It's hard for fans. Honestly, though, I'll give it that to them. That's why you'll never see Cleveland get hella opposing fans. Ain't no one moving there. Denver Bay. Well, we got a lot of transplants, bro. We got a lot of transplants out here. Like everybody is from somewhere. Everybody, you know. And one big thing I'll say to this, bro, is that Patriot fans, getting back on the Patriot fans, I met a whole handful of Patriot fans that after Tom Brady, they were Patriot fans and they came out here, bro. And then all of a sudden you started hearing them fools say, yeah, we're going to represent the local team. Like, what? Nah, bro, you can't just do that. Uh, yeah, they sell the most gear. I mean, yeah, I mean it's iconic logos, definitely, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, definitely. But like I said, bro, a lot of people use that shit for fashion too. A lot of people use it. It's a fashionable thing, so people can wear that shit and not even be fans. They just wearing it for an outfit. You know, I met people I've seen, and they just got some shit to match some clothes, and they don't even they don't even represent the Raiders. Raiders are more of an image thing than a football thing, yeah, for sure. Yeah, bro. I mean, there's gangs that use that shit for their original hoods, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't take that. I really don't even take that into consideration when I see fools like when I see fools that try to argue what's a good fan base, right? Because to me, a good fan base is a fan base that for majority of bad years, majority of the seats and just everything is gonna be filled up, and fools are still gonna represent with like energy through the hard times, you know, through the hard times. Now, I'll say it like this, man. You know, Broncos country had sellout streaks, right? Sellout streaks since the 70s. Um, so it kind of shows like what this team really means. Even the bad years, man, sellout streaks. Now, there's a lot of pessimistic shit going on, though. And even the atmosphere at the tailgates were different. You know, it was different, bro. It was like, you know, it was just like, I was kind of just like, damn, bro. It's so separated from what Broncos country actually used to be, you know. I know guys that use different jerseys because of their shoes. Damn, yeah, that's mind blowing, bro. We still loyal To our teams, fam, etc. From our gang background, most people don't have loyalty like street cats, to be honest. Yeah, so that's why a lot of them fools will switch up on the team, bro. That's why a lot of people will switch up on the teams, bro. They switch up one day they were this fan, and the next day they were that fan. Yeah, so I just wanted to come say what I had to say, man. I appreciate y'all listening to what I had to say. Um, it's a new day and age, homie. Definitely for Broncos country. It's a new day and age, a new feel of the fan base and different things, bro. You know, this city expanded a lot, bro. And like I used to always say this when I was younger, homie. Football season was just its whole realm. It was like a whole different realm during football season, from tailgating to just the spirit to like real important games, homie. People would use the whole weekend to get ready for that football game. People will be cruising Federal, bro, Bronco down, getting ready for that game, especially if it was important. And you can't even cruise Federal no more, bro. You can't even cruise Federal no more. My godfather been a Bronco fan his whole life from Cali. Man, shout out to him. I'm glad the Broncos actually gave him some shit to be joyful about, some rings. That's cool. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to Gramps. So yeah, man, it's and that's kind of what it is, man. It's they don't have the Sun Valleys over there no more, where everybody used to be parking for the games, and you know what I'm saying. And I don't know if it's with everybody's stadium, but a lot of times now too, people over there, they telling on if people are getting too rowdy. I seen people actually tell on people getting that's at the games too rowdy. That was never, and that's what I'm saying. It's a whole different age and different people, bro. That would never had happened back in the day. You know what I'm saying? You literally that's what we go to the games for, is to be rowdy, homie, and be crazy. You know what I'm saying? The mecca of your sports team. You supposed to go over there and represent with some aura, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little different. Maybe that's it's just different. I don't know. Shout out to my riders. Hey, what up, Boston in sports? What's good with y'all? Hey, George. All right, well, yeah, I'm gonna probably tap out, man. Go jump in this water, man. We count down them days. I hope everybody's excited, man. I hope everybody that represents this football shit, I hope everybody gets excited. We got preseason in like 3 weeks. We're going to be able to see what the rookies going to do in this preseason coming up. 2 days from now, the rookies report to training camp, and then we got training camp next week. I ain't been able to go this year, but we'll see what they're going to do, man. We're going to see what they're going to put together. But yeah, man, y'all have a good night. Shout out to everybody that pulled up. Come and talk a little football. My high salute to all the writers out there. Hey, and to the next one, man. Y'all be good. I'm going to get at y'all.